Welcome back. One final point before we go tonight. What the mainstream media was too afraid to tell you about the news this week. This week, while the mainstream media obsessed about First Lady Melania Trump's white hat, here are the things that happened that really matter. 11 migrants from the South American migrant caravan that crossed Mexico to the United States border, 11 of them have already been arrested for violating U.S. law. That's right, these migrants hopped our fence and entered the United States illegally. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol then arrested them. So much for the liberal narrative that these migrants were all law-abiding people just looking for a way out of a bad life. Almost 10% of the ones who have entered our country from this caravan already broke our law and were arrested. But did the mainstream media tell you about that? Oh no, the media wouldn't touch this. Speaking of illegal immigrants, a bill in the California State Senate would allow illegal immigrants to serve in the California state government. Theoretically then, these migrants from the caravan who hopped our border fence, if they hadn't been caught, they could have legally served in our government here in California under this new law, allowing illegal aliens who broke our law to make law that we, the citizens, would be forced to follow. But did the mainstream media report on this horrible law as the threat to self-government that it is? Oh no, they didn't. CNN reported on anonymous sources who made vicious allegations against Admiral Dr. Ronnie Jackson, President Trump's then nominee for Secretary of the VA. The anonymous sources accused Jackson of drunken driving that resulted in multiple car wrecks, among other things. But the White House countered the anonymous claims from CNN, saying they have records from the past 5 years of Ronnie Jackson being involved in 3 vehicle incidents, none of which involved alcohol and none of which he was found to be at fault. The Secret Service confirmed the same thing, that the allegation that Jackson drunkenly banged on President Obama's door during an overseas trip was false, as the Secret Service would certainly have had record of that, and they don't. Yet the mainstream media barely reported on these corrections because it makes them look like the biased liars they are for pushing out the unverified and false allegations in the first place. A Broward County student by the name of Kenneth Preston exposed negligence by the Broward County School District regarding their responsibility to keep their schools safe. Preston found the school district had $100 million allotted to spend on school safety provisions, but only spent $5 million of that total amount, neglecting to spend $95 million on school security, including a specific provision regarding high-tech fire alarms that could have stopped Nicholas Cruz from successfully waging his attack. And now the school district is trying to shut Preston up. Funny how the mainstream media will report on the Parkland students walking out of school and pushing gun control, but doesn't even care about real school safety enough to ask the Broward County School District why they didn't spend this money on school safety features. Another bill in the California State Assembly would allow government to snoop on homeschooling families while the parents are teaching their children. The bill would empower the government to force parents to have teaching certifications if they want to homeschool, something not even private school teachers are required to have, and would enable the government to inspect the homes of homeschooling families, sometimes even without advance notice. And liberals in the state of California support this bill. The mainstream media doesn't care to report any of that to you, so we will. And that is my final point. You can reach me on Twitter at Liz_Wheeler. If you like the show, please send me an email at oann.com/contact. In the meantime, catch us here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. And until then, have a good night.